Imagine walking 225 miles with nothing but a cloak to shield you from the cold, surviving on scraps, and chasing a dream that seems impossible. This is the unbelievable journey of Louis Vuitton, a name now synonymous with luxury, exclusivity, and unrivaled style. But how did a boy from rural France, with nothing to his name, become the ruler of the luxury fashion world? What if I told you that this wasn't just a fairy tale? What if Louis Vuitton's story is even more extraordinary than we ever realized? It was born in 1821 in the small, impoverished village of Antje, France. Life was tough. His family struggled to make ends meet. His father worked as a miller and farmer, while his mother made hats just to put food on the table. They didn't have electricity, running water, or even the luxury of proper education. Instead, Louis spent his childhood working long hours in the fields, just trying to survive. But then, at just 10 years old, tragedy struck. Louis' mother passed away, and his father remarried a woman who made life unbearable. For Louis, this was the breaking point. What did he do? At just 13, he left everything behind. No money, no food, and only a dream that seemed impossible. He decided to walk to Paris. A journey that would take him 3 years. Yes, 3 years of walking through harsh weather, sleeping in the woods, and scraping by on whatever odd jobs he could find. Can you even imagine? Walking that far alone, with nothing but hope driving him. Finally, Louis arrived in Paris, but did he walk into a world of fame and luxury? No. Instead, he found a small job as an apprentice boxmaker and packer. This wasn't just any job, it was a highly specialized craft. Boxmakers didn't just create boxes, they crafted custom-made boxes for the wealthy elite. Louis learned the trade quickly, absorbing every detail, and eventually making a name for himself in Parisian society. But wait, how does a poor, homeless boy become so well known among the rich and powerful? His big break came when the Empress of France herself noticed his skill. She was so impressed by his work that she hired him as her personal boxmaker and packer. Can you believe it? From being a lonely child with nothing but a dream, Louis was now working directly for the Empress of France. But even with such a prestigious position, Louis wasn't content. What was his next move? At 33, Louis took a huge risk. He married, used his savings, and opened his own workshop. But here's where things got interesting. As he worked, he noticed something. The luggage of the time had rounded tops, designed to shed rain, but this design made it impossible to stack them. This meant more work for packers. Louis thought, there has to be a better way. And guess what? He found it. Louis experimented with canvas, a lighter, water-resistant material, and designed flat-top trunks that could be stacked easily. It was pure genius. This design didn't just solve a problem. It revolutionized the luggage industry. Can you imagine the reaction of the elite? The demand exploded. The wealthy, the powerful, and even royals from Egypt were lining up for Louis Vuitton trunks. Within just 2 years, Louis Vuitton was the must-have brand for the rich and powerful. But then, disaster struck. In 1870, as Louis' business was soaring, the Franco-Prussian War broke out. Louis was forced to flee Paris. When he returned, his workshop had been completely looted. His dreams, his hard work, gone. It was a devastating blow. But here's the thing, Louis didn't stay down. He didn't let this setback define him. Instead, he used his remaining savings to rebuild his empire. But what did he do differently this time? He moved his workshop to a more prestigious location, right next to the Paris railway station. Why? Because now travelers could easily stop by his shop when coming in or out of the city. And in 1872, Louis unveiled a new design, a beige canvas with bold stripes. It was a design that captured the imagination of the world. But of course, with success came imitation. Other brands started copying Louis' designs. So what happened next? Could anyone truly replicate the luxury of Louis Vuitton? Louis designs were copied, but no one could match the quality of his work. His trunks weren't just luggage. They were a symbol of luxury and exclusivity. This was the secret to Louis Vuitton's continued dominance in the market. But after Louis passed away in 1892, the brand didn't die with him. His son, Georges, took over and expanded the business even further. Georges introduced the iconic LV monogram in 1896 to protect against counterfeiting. He also added locks to the trunks, making them even more secure. But even with all this success, the road ahead wasn't without its bumps. In the 1970s, the brand was facing a crisis. Could Louis Vuitton survive in a rapidly changing market? In 1970, Georges passed away, and Louis Vuitton was at a crossroads. The reins of the company were handed over to his son-in-law, Henri Racamier, who had a clear vision to make the brand a global phenomenon. But then, Bernard Arnault, a sharp-minded property developer, entered the picture. Henri invited Bernard to help manage some of the company's issues. But what happened next? A corporate drama unfolded that no one saw coming. Bernard secretly purchased 43% of Louis Vuitton shares and, with the help of Moet and Hennessy, took control of the company. Henri, blindsided by this move, was ousted. For the first time in over 100 years, no member of the Vuitton family was involved in the brand. But was this the end of Louis Vuitton? Not by a long shot. It was just the beginning of a new era. When Bernard Arnault took control of Louis Vuitton, many thought the brand would crumble. But Bernard had a different vision. A vision that would transform Louis Vuitton into the most valuable luxury brand in the world. He took the company public in 1984, and by 1987, Louis Vuitton merged with Moet Hennessy to create the luxury conglomerate LVMH. Under Bernard's leadership, the brand thrived. He introduced collaborations with fashion icons like Vivienne Westwood and Isaac Mizrahi, and even teamed up with streetwear brand Supreme, which attracted a younger, hipper audience. By 2021, Bernard Arnault became the richest person in the world, with a net worth surpassing $180 billion. But with such growth, did Louis Vuitton face any challenges? Absolutely. Despite facing challenges like counterfeiting and a rapidly changing market, Louis Vuitton continued to grow, solidifying its place as the ultimate symbol of luxury and exclusivity. And it's all thanks to the resilience, creativity, and drive of Louis Vuitton, his family, and Bernard Arnault. From a boy's dream of a better life to a $39 billion empire that's been shaping fashion for over a century, this is Louis Vuitton's unbelievable story. But let me ask you this. Do you believe dreams can still come true, no matter where you start? What does it take to turn a humble beginning into global domination? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories of triumph, struggle, and legacy. Stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next one.